nationwide. Mary, back to you.
Jill, thank you. And we begin with an investigation underway in Brooklyn after a 21-month-old child fell to his death out of a 6th-story window.
CBS 2's Janelle Burrell joins us live now from Crown Heights. Janelle?
And Cindy, little Levi Neiman, not even 2 years old. Investigators say he was in his crib. His mom was changing another baby's diaper and got distracted. He was in his crib, climbed out onto a dresser and out that 6th-story window.
I feel so bad that things like this have to happen.
Neighbors like Chaya Grossman still shaken, having witnessed the panic and terrifying moments after 21-month-old Levi Neiman fell. Police say the baby boy somehow climbed out of his family's 6th-floor apartment window on Crown Street in Crown Heights around 11:30 Wednesday morning, plummeting 3 stories down. But building residents say it wasn't initially clear where the toddler landed, leading to a frantic search.
I heard a mom yelling and EMT. They were jumping from porch to porch, and they were trying to locate the child.
Using ladders, EMTs eventually located little Levi on a 3rd-floor balcony. He was taken to Kings County Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. There were no protective bars in the window where the child lived, and by law, owners of apartment buildings are required to provide window guards for tenants with children ages 10 and under. As the city's health department investigates the case, residents here hope this horrible accident will encourage parents to make sure their windows are safe.
It's such a little child, and they're going to climb around, and it's just it's horrible that he had to fall.
And again, funeral services for Levi Neiman set for this afternoon. Meanwhile, the investigation by the city's health department continues. For now, we are live in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Janelle Burrell, CBS 2 News.
Janelle, thank you. We have breaking news now of a deadly terror attack in China. China's state-run news agency says 31 people have been killed and more than 90 wounded in an early morning attack at a busy street market. It happened in the capital of the country's northwestern region of Xinjiang. Attackers reportedly plowed through crowds of shoppers and off-road vehicles and threw explosives out the window before crashing head-on. It is the bloodiest in a series of violent incidents blamed on radical separatist Muslims.
Happening today, the Brooklyn man accused of stabbing his wife to death is set to appear in court. Police say Hassan Rugova stabbed his 46-year-old wife, Gurtan, in their Bay Ridge apartment Tuesday. Sources tell CBS 2 the two were arguing over infidelity. Police say the couple's 14-year-old son was slashed when he tried to stop his father from hurting himself. Rugova is facing second-degree murder charges.
New this morning, the death of an inmate on Rikers Island is being investigated by the Corrections Department. According to the Associated Press, Bradley Ballard was in a cell in a mental health wing for 7 days last September. Documents show that guards checked on him dozens of times. He was later discovered unresponsive and covered in feces. He was rushed to the hospital where he died of an apparent infection. The 39-year-old was in Rikers on a parole violation.
A case of help delayed is prompting the firefighters union to demand changes to the city's 911 emergency call system. It follows the release of phone calls from an October fire on Staten Island.
That's what I said, 850 Highland Boulevard. Is this Staten Island? Staten Island. There's a fire at what address, ma'am?
The calls came from a nun at a convent on Staten Island. They show how dispatchers wasted valuable time trying to figure out the exact address. It was nearly 7 minutes before firefighters finally arrived, 2 minutes longer than average. Meanwhile, fire gutted the building and one nun had to jump from the 2nd floor to escape the flames. This week, Mayor de Blasio ordered a comprehensive review of the 911 system.
Well, frightening crash caught on surveillance video on Long Island. Two school buses collide at an intersection, leaving one on its side. The larger bus ran through a stop sign in Copiague, slamming into a smaller bus and sending it flying. Both drivers and a 7-year-old girl on the smaller bus were hurt. So far, no charges have been filed against either driver. The driver of the larger bus has been suspended. And students at a Queens elementary school returned this morning to class a day after a loaded gun was found in the hallway. The .38 caliber gun was found in the lobby at PS 60 in Woodhaven. The gun belongs to a photographer, Richard Rapetti, who was at the school to take photos. Police say Rapetti didn't know that the gun had fallen out of his ankle holster. Rapetti owns a photography company and is licensed by the NYPD to carry a concealed weapon on business. Police say Rapetti will not face charges.
Some parents of young students killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting massacre are pushing for gun control in New Jersey today. New Jersey lawmakers will vote this afternoon on a bill that would limit the number of rounds in a magazine to 10. 20 students students and 6 educators were killed when a gunman opened fire at Newtown, Connecticut in December of 2012.
Governor Cuomo will address the state's Democrats as they gather for their convention in Melville, Long Island today. It comes a day after Cuomo announced his new running mate. Cuomo chose former Congresswoman Kathy Hochul to run for lieutenant governor. This fall, they'll face Republican gubernatorial candidate Rob Astorino and his running mate, Chemung County Sheriff Chris Moss.
June 1st marks the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. Later today, we'll get the government's prediction on how many storms may form and make landfall. This year's announcement is being made here in the city at an emergency operations center in Brooklyn. We'll also hear about new and improved hurricane forecast tools and a new citywide hurricane preparedness initiative being put in place this year. And our most recent megastorm has led the federal government to begin work on a new warning system. During Sandy, Staten Island, the Rockaways, and the South Shore of Long Island were slammed with devastating storm surges. 32 people drowned. Yesterday, Senator Chuck Schumer said the government will create storm surge warning maps to better predict the potential height of rising tides and let residents know of danger on the way.
Well, time now for your Money Watch. Stock futures pointing to a higher opening this morning ahead of job and housing numbers set to be released later today. On Wall Street yesterday, stocks bounced back following major losses on Tuesday. The Dow climbed 159 points and the Nasdaq jumped 35 points. And you could be one of millions of Americans who would no longer get mail delivered to your door if some lawmakers have their way. A House committee approved a bill to change some delivery service to centralized mailboxes. If this becomes law, 15 million addresses would be converted over the next decade, saving $2 billion a year. Postal Service lost $1.9 billion the first 3 months of this year.
That is going to be one overstuffed centralized mailbox.
No, that's so true.
From the amount of mail that just we get, right?
So many people, they're doing it on the computers now.
That's
you
right.
pay the bills, you look at this, you look at that.
Do you do that?
Some.
Okay, same.
Yeah, but I also like to go to the post office. I also like to go to the bank.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like old school.
to the bank?
I know. What's that called?